Hey everyone, Kashik here. I just want to jump on and make some kind of track breakdown video of my new song Twilight with my buddy Zababa. I want to just dive into my kind of creative process on how this came about because it's quite an interesting process, this one. It's different to how I'd usually go about a song. So what kind of happened was last year I started this Twilight song on the 26th of May, 25. That's how I do my project files. I just call it the date that I make them or that I first start them. And then it's kind of just near the end of the process that I give them the name that it's going to end up having. Anyway, about a year ago, I started this song, and I'm pretty sure I started with the vocal. I might have started with the drums, but I was going through old sessions, and at the time I was making a couple of songs with my buddy's vocal in it from way back, because I'd recorded him in the house we were living in. And basically, this is the song that had the original vocal in it, created on the 6th. Oh no, the GarageBand project was created on the 14th of July 2017, so ages ago. It's not even a Logic project, it's a GarageBand project. It's very loop based, and it's housey. Anyway, this is the song that the vocal came from. Okay, anyway, that's this original song. Later in the song, it has like him playing the steel drum and the didgeridoo as well. And it's also when he used to go by the name Zababa. But yeah, he goes by Zababa now. And I went into that GarageBand project and I pulled out the vocal. So this is what it sounds like on its own. Oh no, that's the song. Here it is. Yeah, sounds real good. That reverb on it, that's natural. We recorded it in the steam room in the house we were living in. I'll put a photo on now. And yeah, it had this really cool ambient reverb, so we recorded it in there and used it in that original Shanama song. So I pulled it out of there last year and put it into something new, something bass focused, and essentially that vocal ended up turning into this sound. Yeah, so originally it was 120 BPM, ended up pitching it down 10 semitones, so it's way deeper than the original. It's also a different tempo because this song is at 150 BPM. And in context of the song, this is the break. Yeah, so that's how it gets used in the song. Just comes in the break, and then in the second part of the second drop, it's the same thing but chopped up slightly, and then it plays throughout the outro as well. There's some other vocally parts in here, but they are just samples. Let me find that. There's this one here in the intro. The original sample sounds like this. So, pretty creepy. Found that on Splice and wanted to use it, so I used it. Yeah, there's actually not heaps in this song. I'll break down the session for you. So the way that my Ableton template works is I've got groups already pre-made with nothing in them but the tracks to put stuff on. But I've got a beat group, a bass group, a layer group, a sprinkle group, and then all of those go to the pre-master and out to the main from there. Let's start with the beat. This is what the beat sounds like from the intro going into the drop. Within that beat folder or group, I've got kick and snare, obviously, a cymbal group which has like hi-hats and that kind of stuff in there. There's a bit of side chaining to the kick and snare, and then there's a perk group as well. Not heaps in there. Most of that perk is this wet glitch beat, 110 BPM. Let's see what that sounds like. That might have been an old sample. So sped way up. This is what it sounds like now. Yeah. And then there's, oh no, that's turned off. There's nothing there. So not heaps, honestly. Not heaps in the beat, and it just kind of changes a bit in the second drop. Some of the hi-hats come out for a bit of a downlifter. Yeah, not heaps. Let's have a look at the bass. What I wanted to do with this bass line was to create something that moved through a huge chunk of the frequency. So when you're on a big sound system, you feel it physically moving and falling, and it goes from a D sharp at about 75 hertz down to another D sharp at about 30, what is it, like 36 hertz or something. So this is what the main sub, I'll just play the bass together. There's just a sub layer and a mid bass layer. That's just the mid bass. That's the sub. I'll probably be clipping a bit because it's going through the master output. But yeah, just that bass. Not much to it. There's one little sample here from an Attire sample pack. Shout out Attire. This is what that sounds like. One little stab. And then the break just moves to a separate instance of Serum. It's just a bit of automation changing that. And then back to drop 2. Yeah, it just gets a bit dirtier. There's like some LFO stuff happening in here on this mid bass. Yeah, just changing it up. Yeah, it's not heaps, honestly. Yeah, Honestly, like that's not even doing anything. Dry wet's on 0. That must be automated at some point. Probably in the outro. No, not even there. Oh yeah. So from the drop 1 into the break. Just to create some ambience. That's all that reverb does. Yeah. Let's have a look at the serum patch. So let me take that back a bit. Not much, just a couple of wavetables, or a few wavetables, bit of noise, and then some distortion, which is being modulated with this LFO1. That's the bulk of it, and then just some spatial stuff here. Yeah, not a crazy sound design session. Let's have a look in the layers now. There's this soft lead, which was a chime note. This is the frozen version, but it was a chime note with a bit of echo, bit of auto panning, a bit of reverb, and a little bit of EQ to shape it at the end. Here's the audio version of that. Yeah. Pretty simple. There's nothing even on these tracks. These are just template tracks I leave in the template session for Ableton. That's the vocal, which we've already had a look at. Actually, let's have a look at the effects on that vocal. I don't know if we looked at that. So I guess it's acting like a bit of a de-esser, just to take a bit of the harshness out of the vocal recording. It goes into a echo delay. Oh, I love this plugin. This echo is probably one of my most used plugins. In fact, it's my third most, just looking at the rank here in Ableton, it's my third most used plugin. Hybrid, reverb, limiter, echo, erosion, glue compressor. Just these like default plugins are just bloody good, mate. Bloody good. And then it's going into a bit of another EQ, bit of shaping happening here. Not heaps, it's kind of just acting like a bit of a multi-band compressor with the lows and the highs. And then this is a big shapey plugin. Just a bit of compressor to glue it up. Auto pan to do some movement throughout the stereo spectrum, and then smashing it, well, not smashing it, but a limiter on the end just to tame the peaks. Let's turn this effects chain on and off so you can hear it before and after. Yeah. That's the vocal. Here's a sample, other 120. Let's have a listen to this, the original. It's probably a splice. This isn't splice. This is it's stem separation from a song when Logic first came out with the stem separator, because they came out with the stem separator before Ableton did. I ran some stuff through it just to test it out. What is that? If I remember, I'll post it in the comments, but I'll look into that. Yeah, to have, yep, okay. And then so sped up a whole bunch because the original is 120. It's a lot quicker. Also pitched it up 7 semitones. and I'm hitting it with a raw, which is a distortion plugin, 2 stages of it, a compressor, a reverb, some EQ shaping, and then just a limiter on the end. This is with and without the effects. And then there's just a bit of custom automation on the feedback in that distortion, just to kind of get it to like feedback, I guess. I don't know the other word for that. Yeah, and that's turned off. What's this? This will be splice, just looking by the name of it. Just some cinematic pads, and that's all there is in layers. Honestly, there's bugger all in this session. Sprinkles is my final grouping, and that's got a single riser. Everything else, there's nothing on. So this is what the riser sounds like. It's just a riser, nothing more to it. And then these groups usually have a bit of processing. So this layers group, for example, there's a high and a low pass that probably automate to do something. Let's see. Maybe, maybe not. I guess not. It's got a red dot on it though. Oh yeah, there's just a very small bit of high pass. Yeah, just a little bit of high pass in the intro. Band split. This is by FS Band Split. This guy used to be called GM Audio. He's an Australian guy. Makes the best Max for Live plugins. He's created this really good band splitter in terms of like aliasing and things like that. I'm not super technical, but it does the job really well. It's pretty new. He came out with another version, then he updated it to this one. So on the low and high bands, there's a side chain for the kick happening on the low band. The high band, it's got a side chain for the kick and the snare. These sidechain plugins are the same guy. So he used to be called GM Audio. He's changed to Fixation Studio, but definitely check that out. Really affordable, super good plugins. I use this clipper all the time. Best clipper, hands down. Yep, so that's the bus processing for layers. Bass will probably be something similar. Just a bit of limiter right at the start, I guess, just to pick up the very high peaks, and then it goes into the same band splitter, lows and highs, and that is just for sidechaining again. Yeah, so I don't often hit the bass channel with like 100% sidechaining to the snare. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I fully sidechain the bass to the snare 100%, so you get it fully cut out, but often I don't. Often I just find I just need a bit of sub still present when the snare is hitting. So that's why I split it into lows and highs for sidechaining. On the high side of it, it's kind of doing the opposite, where the highs are being 100% hit with the sidechain, and the kick is not affecting the highs of the bass bus as much. And that's pretty common for me. That's a pretty usual setup for sidechaining. That's working for me at the moment anyway. And on the beat bus, which has all the drums and percussion, there is a low pass filter. Probably does that same thing there. So yeah, just did like a little bit of low passing leading into drop one. It's just a bit of a glue compressor and a bit of a high boost, and then just the GM audio clipper at the end. Pretty much just to tame any peaks when all the things are coming together, like the kick and the percussion and the snare and the hats. This will just kind of tame a little bit. And this is a super transparent clipper. Like, you can smash it super hard, a lot harder than this, and not hear any audible clipping. Highly recommend it. Let's go to the pre-master. That's the last track that this all routes to. What have we got here? We've got just a boost at the start, a boost to get any overall high peaks. It's doing like 3 decibels on some of the loudest stuff. Goes into Nova GE. It's a bit of a multi-band kind of compression setup for overall master, and then just 3 more decibels of gain, and then a clipper and a limiter, and that's literally it. This is the Tokyo Dawn Records limiter. I've stopped using this one so much. It's great, it's a great limiter, but all my recent works and whips, all my recent mix downs, I've just been using the stock Ableton limiter, and it's great, honestly. Like, it limits. And this song, let's have a look at the luffs. This is one of my loudest songs, I think, just in terms of like luffs, whatever that, you know. It's not like a be all end all, but it's pretty damn loud. Let's have a look at the spectrum too while we're at it. So yeah, so it's getting up to negative 4.2 luffs there, which is probably louder than it needs to be, but it smacks. What can I say? It's a good sounding tune. I like it. And that's Twilight. Yeah, first time doing a video like this. I hope you enjoyed my creative process. You can find this song. Currently, you can only find it on Bandcamp and SoundCloud, but it will be coming to all the other streamers on the 15th of July. So check it out. And until then, much love. I'm out.